Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
Turkey ready to deploy to block Russian aggression.
News comes from Azerbaijan. Here, a sudden escalation shattered regional stability as Russian airstrikes targeted and destroyed key Azerbaijani state oil infrastructure in Ukraine. In response, Turkey signaled its readiness to deploy forces to Azerbaijan, setting the stage for a large-scale rebalancing of power in the South Caucasus. In Azerbaijan, calls are growing for Turkish troops to serve as permanent peacekeepers and security guarantors against any future Russian move. The idea gained momentum after an Azerbaijani journalist asked Turkish President Erdogan when the Turkish army would come to Azerbaijan, because without it, there is always the risk of a new Russian occupation. Azerbaijanis know that Turkish soldiers are the ultimate deterrent to Moscow, as Russia continues moving additional troops toward the Azerbaijani border and reinforces its military bases in Armenia despite Armenian protests.
Did Russia completely discount Turkey getting involved, or?
I don't know what Russia's stance is. I'm not sure.
Because we know Turkey has a very strong military and they're very stacked with defense.
Yeah, I don't think Russia wants to fight a two-front war either. Because they're fighting in Ukraine. I don't think they're trying to find anything in Azerbaijan. Yeah, so I'm not sure what's going on here.
Turkish special forces and advisors already rotate through Azerbaijani units, and the private military company Sadat has an established presence. But the current push is for a permanent and full-on Turkish military presence in Azerbaijan. By joining and shaping public debate in both countries, Turkey is testing the waters for a permanent deployment that would complicate any Russian military action in the Caucasus. At the same time, Azerbaijan is breaking with Soviet military traditions, because President Ilham Aliyev has ordered a full switch from Russia's military coordinate grid system to the US-developed World Geodetic System, the standard used by NATO. This removes one of the last major Russian frameworks still embedded in Azerbaijani military planning, marking a decisive break from the Soviet systems that once structured Baku's entire defense doctrine. The system integrates GPS and satellite imagery to ensure efficiency in targeting data and joint operational planning across allied forces. By adopting it, Azerbaijan can now receive and provide NATO standard military coordinates, reconnaissance and targeting data more effectively and without delay with Turkish and other allied units, and train in joint operations with no conversion gap. This directly supports Baku's push for a permanent Turkish troop presence, ensuring both forces could operate seamlessly with one another from the first day of deployment. While the shift is technical, it carries a clear strategic signal. Azerbaijan is making genuine preparations for potential defensive conflict with Russia by aligning its mapping, targeting and navigation infrastructure with the West and removing all dependency on Russian systems in wartime. The sharpest warning, however, came after Russian missile and drone strikes deliberately destroyed facilities of Sokar, Azerbaijan's state oil company, with precise long-range attacks in Ukraine. Baku publicly threatened to respond by sending not just humanitarian support or defensive equipment to Ukraine, but actual weapons. Notably, the Baku-based Avia aggregate plant began producing 122mm and 155
in this water if you have what do you say?
Well, I don't know. Trump is doing something, with Zelensky today, so maybe that war is gonna end. But the one in Ukraine. So that's a question mark, but yeah, this is interesting.
5mm artillery shells using Turkish and Bulgarian production lines already in 2022. These are exactly the kinds of munitions Ukraine needs most: artillery shells to sustain defensive and offensive operations. If Baku scales up such deliveries, the geopolitical impact would be immediate. Another former Russian ally would be openly arming Ukraine, signaling a deepening strategic defeat for Moscow. Russia's attacks on Sokar assets have therefore created the risk of provoking a stronger, more open Azerbaijani military role in Ukraine, a shift that Azerbaijan could make without fear of military retaliation if Turkey deploys its peacekeepers in the region. Overall, what began as targeted strikes on energy facilities is now feeding into a broader realignment, with Azerbaijan openly seeking Turkish troop deployments, embedding NATO systems into its military to ensure full interoperability, and weighing whether to arm Ukraine more heavily. Each step is a response to Russian provocations, and a move that further isolates Moscow. The irony is that by hitting Sokar in Ukraine, Russia may have accelerated trends that were already underway, turning a wary neighbor into an active security partner for both Turkey and Ukraine. If these steps continue, the Kremlin could find that in trying to punish Azerbaijan, it instead pushes it firmly into the opposing camp, with consequences that reach far beyond the oil sector. If you are against the invasion of Ukraine and you...
I wonder, when Russia attacked the Azerbaijani oil company in Ukraine, if they knew and did it on purpose, or it was an accident, they just hit it by accident.
I wouldn't be surprised they said they did it by accident.
want to support the work that I'm doing, consider subscribing to our own independent news website. Here
How does he get all this news from? Like, they collect this data from where?
There's, the paid news sources that you can get. And I guess just make a video about it.
Can I see the comments?
Mm-hmm. Putin. We are bogged down in Ukraine. What we need is 4 or 5 new enemies and maybe a few more fronts. Following Hitler's strategy, I see. With friends like Russia, who needs enemies? Armenia and Azerbaijan should be working on a 3-state peace and defense treaty with Georgia, with Turkey backing. Hope nothing came out of a US-Russia meeting. It's a waste of time to go with Russia anyways.
Wow, yeah, we don't know what happened in this meeting yet.
Nothing happened. We saw, but nothing came out of it.
Okay. Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, share as much kindness as possible.